All right, let's see. Looks like I am back here, which is a blessing. And I'm calling this take two. Not one, but take two. Beautiful. All right, let's go back here. And man, with all the things here, let's continue the recording. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for showing up. I already said thank you. Just pause the recording so that I can make sure that I am connecting with you all live. And for anybody that's watching a replay, feel free. You need to skip ahead, but we are going to get started with this. I'm excited about this topic. And so let's share my screen and let's get it going. Let's go. So we'll share that. Great. And let me go ahead and get that going. So our topic today is what we're talking about is stop grinding, start scaling, the entrepreneur's guide to working less and earning more. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about really, you'll see that the three things here, we have break free from the grind. So escaping the cycle of overwork and being the bottleneck in your own business. Also, we'll discuss unlocking the scaling potential, which is discover how to expand your enterprise efficiently without constant personal effort. And, and we'll talk about work less, earn more, live freely, learn to increase revenue while reclaiming your freedom and sanity. Right. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, let's talk about the entrepreneur's trap. First step we see is that there's a business dependency where your company can't function without you. Now, when you get started, of course, you may be it, but you want to get yourself to the point where the company can function without you, that you are not just the main source. Now, you have to set milestones in order to do that. And you should have somebody, a mentor, a coach, someone that's helping you through this process. So be mindful of that, the entrepreneur's trap, that business dependency. The next thing is the time scarcity. You're working longer hours. You mean you're working from 8 to 8. And sometimes that's 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Yes, sleep sometimes becomes less of an option because you're focused on the business, but you're not seeing the returns. So that's one of the traps. You want to be mindful of that. If you're working long hours, that can really lead to frustration. It can lead to regret. It can lead to disappointment. You start to doubt yourself as well. So that self-doubt starts to creep in. So you got to be mindful of that time scarcity. Another thing that comes in is the income ceiling. Your revenue is basically capped by your personal capacity, meaning that if all you can earn is 1,000 a month or 1,500 a month, because physically that's all you can do, then that's where it's going to stop because you have that business dependency and time scarcity. So these limitations, they basically create the perfect storm. So you haven't built a business, you built a job just over broke. Your success now has become your prison. Think about that. You got out of the 9 to 5 to start your own business, but now you make money has now become your prison, your jail. This is where you are confined to. And you've hit that cap because you can only work but so much. So let's talk about the number one scaling mistake. So you have the hero complex. Now, the hero complex is basically, and let me just expand that. The hero complex is believing only you can do things right. Meaning, if you try to ask someone something, or if you ask somebody something, you have doubts in your head already about how to move forward. What's the next step? How you can progress. So it's believing that you can do this. Now, this mindset, it basically keeps your business small and your workload massive. You see the inverse of that when you have that complex. Now, one of the next things that's an issue is you have that delusion of it's just you, meaning DIY delusion, thinking it's faster if you do it yourself than train someone else. Those short-term gain, it creates long-term pain. There's the lack of trust, the self-doubt. Because one, you're not just doubting yourself, or doubting that that person can complete that task, you're doubting yourself and your ability to train this person effectively or to ask for help. And so now it's all on you, and you're in this vicious cycle of of staying where you can only of hitting that ceiling, not going forward. Your ceiling is your limit. You can only do so much. Then there is the control paradox, which is maintaining that tight control can actually limit growth. All right. So you want to be sure you're loosening your grip that allows expansion. That's important with that. Okay. So now that you can recognize and you know what's the why of it, now you have to understand you have to move to a mindset shift. When you're in that hero complex or the DIY delusion, any of those things, you're into trapped thinking. So the trapped thinking is this, that one, you feel that I must do everything myself. No one else can be trusted. That's it. Next, no one else does it as well as me. I've been perfected. I'm the owner. It's all about me. Everything is loading. So even though I'm putting more pressure on there, I can do this because I'm just gonna have bigger shoulders. Then you're thinking, I can't afford to delegate. You see now, as you have these four bullet points, we're on the third one, but these four bullet points, they basically create walls and hurdles. And then your last one is that your business depends strictly on you. That's that trap thinking. So what's the opposite of trap thinking? Freedom thinking. You've got to expand yourself. This is where you're basically training your mind to move forward and think outside of those boxes. So that freedom thinking is that what only I can do. And then the next thing of freedom thinking is there are other people that bring fresh perspectives. So it's those you network, those you meet with weekly, those you may meet with in person or online. And then you think this one, I like this point. You can't afford not to delegate. It's costing you to keep things to yourself. You are limiting the people you can help, and you're limiting your income potential as well. Because the more funds that you have, the more people that you can help. You may say I have that mindset that says, well, it's not about the numbers, it's not about this or that. You've got more funds, then you can help more people. You can expand your business, expand what you can do in order to hit your audience. And it doesn't just have to be in one particular city, town, state, continent. Right? And then understand you want to think that your business can work without you. So the mindset is your business can only grow to the extent that you let it go. You've got to release your grip and go outside of thinking. So now you may be thinking, okay, well, there's got to be some particular way to do this. What's the process? What's the step? So there's a three-step formula to having that freedom thinking that connects with that. The first one is one, start to document. Document meaning create clear systems for every repeatable process in your business. If it's posting on a regular, if it's writing, if it's reaching out to a person, whatever is repeatable, document it, write it down, record yourself doing it. There are so many tools out there that can dictate whatever you record. So don't see it as a chore, see it as a business benefit that you're doing as you're documenting. Next, delegate. Assign tasks to team members based on their strengths. And those team members could come from VAs, could come off sites where you can hire someone, whatever the case may be. But first, as you document first, then you can delegate. Because once you're documenting, you're now grouping these tasks and saying what needs to be done, how many hours need to be assigned to it on a daily, weekly basis. Then as you begin to calculate that process, that's going to help you to define who you can delegate that to. After you delegate, then it's direct. That way you can focus solely on the vision, the strategy, and the high value activities. You see, what this formula does, it transforms your role from operator to owner. So you're now going from, you're now stepping into that business that you want. It's no longer a job. It's your business. You're no longer being imprisoned by it. You're now seeing the steps to expanding your territory. So your business becomes a value generating asset rather than a demanding job. So let's talk about the steps here. First one, why I said document your systems. One, identify key processes. List every repeatable activity in your business that consumes your time. Then what you'll do is you're going to next is create simple SOPs, which is standards of procedure. Document each process step by step with screenshots, videos, any type of aid that you can get. Next, you're going to build your playbook, and you're organizing your standards of procedure SOPs into a comprehensive business operations manual, something that you'll be able to give out, email, download, send out to your team members. Next, what you'll do is you'll test it with beginners. Have someone that's unfamiliar with the task follow your instructions. Then you're going to delegate effectively. And how do you do that? You take the strategic tasks, you keep only the vision setting and the relationship building activities. You'll then take your revenue tasks, the ones that bring in your income, delegate everything except the high value sales activities. Next, you'll move on to the operational tasks, outsourcing all the day-to-day stuff so that you can really focus on those tasks, on those clients as well. And you'll have your documented system to do that. Next, you'll have creative tasks. You'll maintain involvement and brand vision while delegating the execution of that. And thirdly, as we talked about, direct with purpose. So you define your North Star, you clarify your vision and communicate it consistently so your members know. Your team needs direction. They don't need daily involvement, which is the micromanaging. Many entrepreneurs can get caught up in that micromanaging, but you need to trust the process. All right. So let's continue. Next, you'll establish key metrics. Create dashboards that monitor your business health. Focus on leading indicators that predict your future success. And lastly, you're going to implement weekly rhythms, set up structured check-ins with team members. You review progress against goals and provide course corrections. So now we move on to the big thing because now the sky's no longer the limit. You're not hitting your head on that ceiling. So now you've got the revenue multiplier. So then you're thinking about automation. You replace many of the manual tasks with software solutions. This way, you can focus on the vision, the structuring, your key clients, and you eliminate that repetitive work altogether. Next, you can then, with your revenue multiplier, you create once, sell many times. You can build scalable products and services. And then you can also form partnerships, strategic alliances, and tap into other businesses and resources. All right. So you implement just one of these strategies immediately after this session and watch your revenue grow with your workload strengths. So what's the blueprint? The blueprint is this. 80% of your time now gets reclaimed. That's the average workload reduction for clients. Imagine 80%, you get that time back. Amazing. Next, you get 3 times revenue growth. Typical business expansion within 12 months. That's 3 times when following this blueprint. And lastly, to implement your first freedom strategy, 45 minutes. Doesn't take long. All right. And so with all that, what happens is you stop being a bottleneck when you start building a business that scales without you. Your freedom journey can begin now by implementing these steps. Right. So there's your blueprint. You can definitely get to work. Said it was 45 minutes, but here we got this bang done right away. Now, one of the key things with this is that you can know the process, but you need someone that's going to help you to write down the steps for your particular business, your particular organization. So if you're interested in that, you can book a free goal setting session with me. You can go to talkwithtrevor.com, get on my calendar. We will have a quick call where we'll go over what you're looking for, the steps that you can take that you can implement right away. Now, I'm not doing any sales on these calls at all. This is just a quick conversation on the steps that you can take. All right. So get on my calendar, book a time. Let's get things done. I've got a couple of slots open left this week, so you can get on my calendar between tomorrow and Friday. Otherwise, I've got some time next week, a little bit there. Okay. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present this information to you. This way we can stop the grind and start scaling on your business. Let me stop the share. And so usually I have an open Q&A at this time only because the challenges with the technical difficulties won't have that. However, if you're watching this live, put hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, put a replay in the comments. If you have any questions, you can always message me directly, or you can just get on my calendar. As I said, with talkwithtrevor.com, you can figure out what ways to implement them. All right. So hope this was a help. Be sure to set your calendars by this at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back here next Wednesday. I did say on my calendar, I've got some time slots open on Wednesday. Excuse me, on tomorrow. Friday and Monday may be open, but I may need to reschedule. So as you see, this is busy. Half of the year is over. So it's time to really put that focus on and expand and scale your business so you can get 80% of your time back while expanding and helping more people. All right. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next workshop. Also, make a note there there may be times that I go live on different platforms. So be sure you're following me on the various social media platforms that I have out there. You can check my about page and things like that, or go to my website, sscoachingsolutions.com. I look forward to seeing you. I want to thank you all so much. I'll see you all very shortly.